The new Unrivaled series is rolling out the red carpet for Caitlin Clark to join its ranks. Launching in Miami in January, the 3x3 winter basketball venture, co-created by WNBA icons Napheesa Collier and Breanna Stewart, has already secured a stellar lineup. Lexie Hull, Clark's teammate from Indiana Fever, is among the stars on board, alongside big names like Collier, Stewart, Angel Reese, Kelsey Plum, Chelsea Gray, Nneka Ogwumike, Jewell Loyd, Kate Martin, and Brittany Griner. Initially set for 30 players, the league's roster was bumped up to 36 on Thursday after smashing its initial revenue targets. With ESPN viewership spiking during Clark's rookie WNBA season with the Fever, her addition could send revenue and interest through the roof. Caitlin Clark and Unrivaled have had high-level conversations about her joining the emerging 3-on-3 basketball league, sources said today, with the offer believed to include significant equity in the business and a three-month salary of over $1 million. On a day that the league expanded its rosters from 30 to 36 players, those sources said Unrivaled has told Clark she can take as long as she wants to decide, mindful of the grind Clark has endured over the past year as a collegiate player and rookie in the WNBA. But Unrivaled has also strategically signed two of Clark's closest friends, Fever teammate Lexie Hull and former Iowa teammate Kate Martin, to recent contracts, and, according to sources, speculation is Clark is leaning 60-40 to saying yes. Another of Clark's Fever teammates, Aaliyah Boston, is potentially about to join Unrivaled, as well. The 6-team league begins play in an 850-seat Miami production studio on January 17. Unrivaled, co-founded by the WNBA's Napheesa Collier, Collier's husband Alex Basil and Breanna Stewart, has gained significant momentum in recent weeks by striking an exclusive media rights deal with Warner Bros. Discovery worth approximately $100 million, according to sources. The average player's salary is expected to be in the $250,000 range, with Clark being offered a seven-figure deal over $1 million, according to a source. Those sources said talks have been pretty positive, but the league is not being presumptuous on the outcome. Ultimately, they're not applying pressure and just building the league, and hopefully she joins, because if she does, it would have a dramatic impact in a positive way, one source close to the league said. But they don't even have a timetable on when that decision is coming. It's like recruiting someone. It's a decision that can go either way. There's only two answers. I think one way or another, any player that doesn't play this year, I think once they see it, it's just going to be hard not to want to join. The Fever are aware of Unrivaled's pursuit of Clark, and the franchise will not tell her don't go, you can't go, according to sources. Comes down to mental health, stress, or playing ball which she loves, one source said of Clark. She has not decided yet, there will be a spot for her if she wants it, but she will be paid for what she brings to the league, as much as a new league can afford. I think a few weeks we will know. While Clark's plans remain up in the air, Unrivaled president Alex Basil has made it clear there's always room for her, stating, "We're always going to have a roster spot for Caitlin Clark." Speaking to Sportico, Basil added, "We're not applying a full court press the way people think. We are letting her decompress from basketball. She knows that we have a spot for her when she's ready. We have an obligation to continuously add the best of the best wherever we can." Clark has a few more weeks to decide, with the final 36-player lineup set to be confirmed on November 20th. She has reportedly received a massive offer that includes $1 million, in addition to equity and revenue sharing in the competition. This significantly surpasses her base salary during her rookie season with Indiana, where she earned $76,535, £58,950. The majority of her income is derived from endorsements with top-tier companies such as Swoosh, State Farm, Gatorade, Wilson, Bose, and Buick. Basketball phenomenon Caitlin Clark might be coming back to a significantly transformed Indiana Fever when the WNBA returns. The 22-year-old had an impressive debut season in the league, clinching the Rookie of the Year award and securing fourth place in the MVP voting. However, the Fever's first playoff appearance since 2016 ended prematurely following a tumultuous regular campaign. Preparations for 2025 have already begun with the dismissal of head coach Christy Sides, who was criticized for not fully utilizing their star players' potential. Her successor could rectify this issue, and the Irish star reported how other developments in the upcoming months could set the stage for a fantastic second year for Clark. Rumors are already swirling around whom the Fever might target as their next coach, with Stephanie White from the Connecticut Sun emerging as a top candidate. The 2023 Coach of the Year has history with the Fever, having played 4 of her 5 seasons with them and leading the team to their second WNBA Finals appearance in 2015. However, the Fever's current mission is to build the team around Clark. And who better to do that than her college coach, Lisa Bluder? At the ripe age of 63, the mentor who honed Clark's skills into a vibrant display for the Iowa Hawkeyes, culminating in 2 epic NCAA national championship appearances, left the coaching spot in May. For Bluder, though, the chance to coach Clark once more could be the sweetest temptation to return. With the salary cap ever rising, the room for negotiation grows in kind. There's no doubt Clark's value far exceeds her current 5-figure salary, which currently sits at a mere $76,535, £58,800. The decision by the Women's National Basketball Players Association to opt out of the collective bargaining agreement is expected to cause a significant increase in the current team salary cap of $1.46 million next year. It's expected a new agreement based on league revenues will be established next year, boosting the scope for potential earnings across the board. While Clark can rest easy knowing her income is supplemented by numerous sponsorships and her rising fame, a new contract that accurately reflects her worth is only fair. It will also serve as additional motivation for her to lead the Fever to their first WNBA title since 2012. Caitlin Clark hasn't publicly announced if she will join Unrivaled for its inaugural season. But the new 3-on-3 women's basketball league is ready in case the Indiana Fever star decides to suit up. Unrivaled has expanded its initial roster from 30 to 36 players ahead of its first season, which starts in January in Miami. The personnel news comes one day after Clark's teammate on the Fever, guard Lexi Hull, agreed to become the 29th player to commit, and 3 days after Clark's good friend and Iowa teammate, Aces guard Kate Martin, became the 28th. On Thursday, Unrivaled added another one of Clark's WNBA teammates, Fever star Aaliyah Boston, to its formidable cast as player number 30. Unrivaled president Alex Basil says the league was able to expand quicker than expected, outperforming early revenue projections from a combination of brand partnerships, sponsorships, and its recently inked media deal with TNT Sports. "It has allowed us a lot more flexibility," he said. "It allows us to bring in 6 more premium athletes who will also be part of the ownership group. It was strictly a business decision. As we make money, there will be more opportunities. There will now be 6 players across the 6 teams: Lunar Owls, Laces, Mist, Rose, Phantom, and Vinyl. Like the first 30 players, the additional 6 players will also receive equity as part of their deals. The league founders are diluting their equity shares to make room for the half-dozen, a decision they believe will pay off long-term." Basil believes the expansion will improve the product overall, with teams able to take advantage of the extra body in practice or in case of an injury or illness. Unrivaled, co-founded by WNBA stars Breanna Stewart and Nafisa Collier, plans to announce the 6 teams' coaches, who are already hired, in the coming weeks. The decisions on how playing time will be divided will be up to the coaches. In a few weeks, there will be a roster construction meeting between the head coaches who will try to evenly create the most competitive teams based on position, skills, and matchups. The entire list of 36 players will be announced on November 20th. Basil, who is married to Collier, hopes to eventually get to 8 teams with 48 roster spots in the next few years, but maintains its imperative to focus on the original 36 players first and avoid growing too quickly. Unrivaled is backed by high-profile investors from Alex Morgan to former ESPN president John Skipper. It remains a challenge for the league to secure the most high-profile women's basketball players. Some targeted players had other off-season obligations or received stronger offers overseas, but the Brain Trust feels confident about the initial roster, which includes UConn star Paige Bueckers, joining in 2026, Chicago Sky's Angel Reese, and 6-time All-Star Brittany Griner, who is taking advantage of the new option for star W players. "We have an obligation to continuously add the best of the best wherever we can and be supportive," Basil said. While the unsigned talent list includes Las Vegas Aces star A'ja Wilson, there continues to be buzz about the possibility of Clark coming on board. The WNBA's Rookie of the Year has yet to announce a decision on Unrivaled in her off-season plans, but she would be more than welcomed by the alternative league. "We're always going to have a roster spot for Caitlin Clark," Basel added. "We're not apt." Boston joins the fledgling league, co-founded by WNBA stars Napheesa Collier and Breanna Stewart, which will feature 6 teams competing on a condensed full-size court in Miami. She took to social media to confirm her involvement, writing, "Miami IE, let's get it. So excited. And had to double down bo. Boston is the second Fever player to join Unrivaled in as many days, following Wednesday's announcement that Hull would be participating. This may tempt teammate and WNBA Rookie of the Year Caitlin Clark to join the league, despite her previous statement to ESPN that she would not be participating in any off-season basketball to focus on having time to herself. "It's gonna be nice, I think," Clark said. "Getting out of the spotlight and just getting to live my life and do things that I want to do." Front Office Sports has reported that Unrivaled has made a Messi-like offer to Clark, implying that the deal is on par with the staggering proposal Inter Miami presented to Lionel Messi, enticing the football icon to join MLS. The Argentinian superstar reportedly secured a mega compensation package which includes a slice of Apple TV's revenue from the MLS season pass and a cut of Adidas profits following his anticipated move to MLS. In addition to this tempting proposition, several of Clark's friends from the WNBA, including Hull and Kate Martin of the Las Vegas Aces, have been confirmed as players in the league, giving rise to speculation that the All-Star might reconsider her stance. With Unrivaled recently increasing its roster to 36, there remain 6 spots up for grabs ahead of the league's launch in January. Conversations between Clark and Unrivaled about a potential arrangement offering considerable benefits for the basketball prodigy have taken place. Unrivaled's president, Alex Basel, spoke to Sportico concerning the circulating speculations about Clark, saying, "We're always going to have a roster spot for Caitlin Clark. We're not applying a full court press the way people think. She knows that we have a spot for her when she's ready." Regardless, Clark is set for a busy off-season. The 22-year-old is teaming up with LPGA golfer and co-Gainbridge ambassador Nneka Ogwumike for a charity pro-am tournament in December, on top of other engagements and events with varied sponsors. They recognize that if it's a Lionel Messi-type offer, you're not going to tell her don't, one source familiar with the Fever said. But they hope she doesn't. They want to provide her with an environment, in Indiana, where there'd be no reason to do anything else. That's the focus. That's their hope. But do they think Unrivaled is going to throw her some exorbitant offer? Of course they do. Because what else are they, Unrivaled, going to do? The league originally had planned to have 6 teams with 5-person rosters for a total of 30 players, but today Collier and Stewart announced that Unrivaled is expanding to 6 teams of 6 players for a total of 36, something that had been in the works for weeks. "We were able to do this because we outperformed our financial projections, and so now we get to do something that we wanted to do in the future, which is give more people spots in Unrivaled," Collier said in a video statement today. "This is such an amazing time in women's sports, and we're so thankful to all the positive people who have come out and supported us." Each of Unrivaled's 6 teams, Laces Basketball Club, Miss Basketball Club, Phantom Basketball Club, Lunar Owls Basketball Club, Rose Basketball Club and Vinyl Basketball Club are owned by the league, although sources said a future option could be to sell the franchises to individual owners. Unrivaled, the new 3x3 league in Miami co-founded by WNBA All-Stars Napheesa Collier and Breanna Stewart, will have a roster spot for Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark if she's interested, but President Alex Basel told Sportico they are not aggressively pursuing her. "We're always going to have a roster spot for Caitlin Clark," Basel told Sportico. "We're not applying a full court press the way people think. We are letting her decompress from basketball. She knows that we have a spot for her when she's ready." The league has reportedly given a Messi-like offer to Clark, which Front Office Sports compared to Inter Miami's offer to soccer legend Lionel Messi to join Major League Soccer, trying to entice her to join the new league. Some of Clark's closest friends in the WNBA, including teammate Lexi Hull and the Las Vegas Aces Kate Martin, who was Clark's teammate at Iowa, have recently been announced as players in the league. Clark previously told ESPN during the WNBA playoffs she will not be participating in any off-season basketball, instead focusing on having time to herself in the off-season after a full year of being in the spotlight. "It's gonna be nice, I think," Clark said in her Fever exit interview, "getting out of the spotlight and just getting to live my life and do things that I want to do." The Fever star will still have a lot to do in the off-season. She is participating in a charity pro-am with LPGA golfer and fellow Gainbridge ambassador Nneka Ogwumike in December, and will likely have more appearances and events with other sponsors. Still, Clark could have changed her mind between Indiana's exit interviews and now. With the announcement that Unrivaled has expanded to 36 players, the league has 6 more players to announce before it starts in January. Hull and Fever All-Star Aaliyah Boston are the only 2 Indiana players signed so far. Unrivaled will be a 6-team league with 6 players on each team playing 3x3. The teams will be picked by a selection committee to ensure it is split by position and skill, Collier said on X. It will be a new type of 3x3, though, with a 70-foot by 50-foot court, 4 quarters, a game clock and a shot clock. Olympic and FIBA 3x3 games are 10 minutes total, with a 12-second shot clock. It will be an 8-week season, starting in January 2025. After 6 weeks of round-robin play, the top 4 teams will have a 2-week postseason. There will also be a 1v1 tournament throughout the season, and Collier said whoever is deemed the best individual player in the world will win a minimum of $250,000. According to the Unrivaled website, the league will have the highest average salaries in women's sports history, and all players will also receive equity in the league. Clark was named the WNBA's Rookie of the Year after averaging 19.2 points on 41.7% shooting, 34.4% on threes, 8.4 assists and 5.7 rebounds for the Indiana Fever this season. Will Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark play in the new Unrivaled Basketball League? It seems unlikely at the moment, but it has not been officially ruled out of the question. Unrivaled president Alex Basil recently addressed Clark's potential participation via Chloe Peterson of Industar.com. "We're always going to have a roster spot for Caitlin Clark," Basil said. "We're not applying a full court press the way people think. We are letting her decompress from basketball. She knows that we have a spot for her when she's ready." Basil says that although Unrivaled would be open to having Clark join the league, they understand if she needs an off-season to rest and recover following a long 2024 campaign. Clark did not have much time off after her final college basketball season and the beginning of the WNBA season. Clark played well in her rookie season. She ultimately won the WNBA Rookie of the Year award after averaging 19.2 points, 5.7 rebounds and 8.4 assists per outing. Clark also played a crucial role in helping the Fever reach the postseason. However, another important role Clark played was helping to grow the WNBA. The league saw immense attendance and viewership increases throughout the 2024 season. Angel Reese and other rookies also drew in new viewership. The entire rookie class was quite popular. Clark's impact was undeniable, though. Unrivaled knows that her possible participation in the league would likely bring in more attention. For now, it remains uncertain as to whether or not Clark will play. Unrivaled still has open roster spots, so it could happen. Clark's 2024 season was busy to say the least. She led the Fever to the postseason after leading Iowa women's basketball to the national championship game. She did not receive much of a break at all, although her absence from the Olympics gave her a few weeks off. Now she is enjoying the off-season. Sure, Clark is still working on improving as a basketball player. However, she does not need to play competitive basketball at the moment. As a result, Clark is receiving necessary rest as she prepares for her second season in the WNBA. Nevertheless, rumors will continue to swirl about Caitlin Clark potentially participating in Unrivaled until all of the roster spots are filled and announced. It will be a situation worth keeping tabs on ahead of Unrivaled's debut in January. The Indiana Fever recently parted ways with head coach Christy Sides. Indiana has roster questions to address, but hiring their next head coach is also a priority without question. Many potential candidates have already been mentioned, but one possible Sides replacement is being linked to the Fever, per Annie Costable of Chicago.suntimes.com. Stephanie White is the head coach for the Connecticut Sun. Yet, rumors have swirled about White potentially joining either the Fever or Chicago Sky, with both franchises currently without a head coach. In fact, 6 total WNBA teams do not have a head coach at the moment. White still has another year on her current contract with the Sun. With that being said, there is a belief that White will be able to have the option to leave if she wants. Of course, White is from Indiana and spent most of her WNBA playing career with the Fever. She also